I've been making funny videos in the past 3 years now. I decided to do comedy just simply because I love acting. Comedy so far in Nigeria is very, very competitive now because if you come online, you will see that there are some other persons who are even far much more better than yourself. When you discover that, all you need to do is to work on yourself again and improve more. Yeah, I see Laugh Views comedy growing, becoming a big brand in the nearest future, which I and my team we've been working so hard to make sure that this brand becomes the talk of the day someday.
Hello, Africa. You're listening to 1000 African Voices. I'm your host, Onoruvie C, coming to you from our Johannesburg studios. 1000 African Voices is a program that profiles Africans of diverse cultures who have traveled and lived across the African continent and the world. In this series, we will collect and share stories from all parts of Africa. Welcome.
1000 African Voices.
Hello, Africa, and welcome to yet another episode of 1000 African Voices. I'm your host, Onoruvie C, and today we're joined by a very special guest who will shortly introduce himself to the listeners of 1000 African Voices. Hello, Godswill.
Hello.
How are you?
Africa. I'm fine, thank you. Thank you.
Great. Can you just introduce yourself to our listeners? Just your full name and where you're from.
All right. My name is Godswill Onoruvie, aka Brother Solomon, and I'm from Nigeria, Delta State to be precise.
Oh, great. And what is it that you do?
Yeah, I'm a comedian, a social media influencer. Basically, I make funny videos, and that's what I do. Yeah.
Oh, nice. And how long have you been making funny videos, and perhaps why did you choose to go into that field?
Yeah, I've been making funny videos in the past 3 years now. I decided to do comedy just simply because I love acting. Although I never had the opportunity to study acting, that is theater and media art in the university. And that's because my own father kicked against it. He said, he wants me to be a medical doctor. So I tried to study medicine, but I couldn't. Then I switched off to another course, banking. But along the line, to cut the whole story short, I ended up going back to the acting, which my father never wanted me to be. And today I'm an actor. I'm a comedian. And also he's also very much proud of me right now. I used to tell him, I'll say, Papa, you remember the other time you said you must not go into acting, you must be a medical doctor. So I do ask him now that, how do you feel now, seeing that I had to achieve my own dreams more than the one you once had for me? So whenever I ask him such questions, he will just smile and say, well, as long as I'm happy with what I'm doing now, there's no problem about that.
Oh, lovely. In a way, you ended up in medicine, because they do say laughter is the best medicine. So perhaps that one way or the other, you are living your father's dream. I've always wondered, we talk about the influence that our parents have, and that most parents are against their kids doing maybe innovative things. And I then look at myself and I'm going to ask you the same question. And I wonder if my son or daughter was to come and say, I want to be an actor or a comedian. Yeah, I wonder if you and I will treat that differently. Do you have a view on that? If your child was to come to you at the age of 18 and say, I want to be a comedian, what would be your response, you think?
Yeah, first, I think it is better for a child to do that which he or she has passion for. Well, I could have become a medical doctor, which if I had become, I wouldn't have been happy being a doctor. Am I correct? But
Yeah.
along the line, I'm happy now because I did what I've always wanted, or I'm doing what I've always wanted to do, which is being an actor. So, advice I would give to all parents or every parent out there is that whatever your child wants or feels like becoming in the nearest future, you should allow that child to, fulfill his dreams. Like me, I have a son. He's just 2 months old. I'm going to give him a close watch and find out what he would like or what he would like to do in his early stage. Then I will help groom him through that which he would like to do or which he would like to become in the near future. I wouldn't want to impose anything on him that I should do my will, just like my father almost imposed his will saying I should become a medical doctor. So by the time my child starts growing, I will take close look at him and find out that which makes him happy and encourage him on it. For example, if I discover that he loves football, then I will give him all the necessary support to make him become a footballer, which will automatically make him fulfill his dreams. Do you understand? So it's really not nice when parents impose certain things on children. They should. Do you know that a child becomes more successful in what he wants to be more than the one you want him to be? Parents, as a parent, we are supposed to guide the children. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Help them cross some path, but not imposing things on them. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not in the support of the idea of a mother or a father imposing some things on their children, like you must study this, or you must become a doctor, or you must become a lawyer, or you must become this or that. Just see what this child likes and help him grow in it. I think he will do better in it. Yeah.
I agree. Do you think things have changed with our generation? Are we then more likely to be open-minded than our parents? Would you say that your generation is then different, or do you think it's just you?
I just think it's just me. It's just what I just think or what I believe is right. So I really don't know. But I think if I'm to suggest or say anything about it, I think I would say maybe we should allow the children to follow the career or build a career path which they will find interesting. Do you know that thing you love doing, if you are given the chance to do it, you will do better in it? For example, a child who wants to become, let's say, a lawyer, and if you help that child grow in his love field, he will do better. I don't know if although many people might still have a different opinion towards that. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that's what. Like that, yeah.
No, I totally agree. All right, Godswill, let's maybe go back to the work that you do. You mentioned that you produce, I suppose most of your videos are on YouTube. So for the listeners that will want to access your content, how do I find the material that you produce as a listener or a typical subscriber on your platform?
All right, thank you very much. I have almost all the social media platforms. That is, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, Twitter. Yeah. So my Instagram handle is Laugh Pills Comedy, spelled LAUGHPILLS Comedy. I use the same name virtually on all my social media platforms. On YouTube is Laugh Pills Comedy. On Facebook is Laugh Pills Comedy. On Twitter too is Laugh Pills Comedy. Yes.
Okay. Oh, great. Laugh Pills. I'm just going to spell it for our listeners. So it's your normal Laugh, L-A-U-G-H,
UDH,
Pills,
yeah.
P-I-L-L-S.
P-I-L-L-S, and comedy.
Comedy. Why did you call it that? What is behind the name? Is it going back to what your father wanted you to do? Why Laugh Pills Comedy?
Yeah, most times people go for pills to relax themselves. Do you understand? There are pills that take some pills. You'll be able to rest well. Do you understand? Probably sleep fine. So I just looked around and I was looking for an appropriate name to use. So something just came to my mind that I should use pills. That pills is a supplement people take. So I had to come up with that. Okay, if I should make funny videos, probably if most of these guys are not happy, probably they are depressed. If they watch this video and they find it funny, they might just end up laughing and forgetting whatever the cause of their depression or their problem is. Do you understand? So that's how I came up with the name Pill. So I was asking my content as a pills to people out there who needs it, just to relax their mind and ease off their stress. So I think that was how I came up with the name Laugh Pills.
That's a beautiful name. I'm going to continue to assume or to view things from your father's perspective, if you don't mind. I'm pretty sure when you said, now I want to go into comedy full time, one of the questions he must have asked you was, how are you going to make money from comedy? Which is a fair question. Someone like you who produces YouTube videos, what is your, let's call it a business model? How do you generate income from what you do?
Yeah, thank you. Honestly, let me start from here. When I started my comedy, I was not having any mindset of making money from it. That is why if you check all my social media platforms, my YouTube channel tends to be the one that has least engagement. For example, what I mean here is that I have 28,000 subscribers on YouTube, while on Instagram, I have over 399,000 followers. So why I did them, because I wanted the video to go out freely for people to access it. Many people complain, especially here from the Africa. Here in Africa, most of us believe we don't want to waste data on watching videos on YouTube. So we prefer getting the videos free. So what I do then, I ended up not growing my YouTube channel along with my Facebook page and my Instagram handle too. So I was busy growing Instagram and Facebook page where people can access the video easily. Do you understand? So it was along the line. It was recently I started putting effort on my YouTube channel. It's now growing. Very correct. My father, how we make money from comedy is not necessarily from YouTube. Do you understand? Like me, although I earn from YouTube, but it's not much. But from where I make more money is Instagram and Facebook. How do I make money from here? I haven't been able to grow large audience. Do you understand? So I get, every now and then, I normally get emails and calls from advertisers, people who want to promote their brand. Do you understand? Because they feel, because they see that I have a little huge platform where if I advertise our products there, they will get a lot of patronage. So they contact us for adverts, which we give them a creative content to advertise our product. So this is where I make most of my money from and not from YouTube. Like I said earlier, I started making money from YouTube recently. Do you understand? And I'm also trying to grow the YouTube channel so that I can be making a lot from it. But I think most of my resources that I make is from the Instagram and Facebook page. And that's because when they come to my page, they will see that I have traffic on my page. So they want to advertise with me. So that's where I really make little of my resources from. for the now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and thank you for answering that question. And I like asking that question because on this show, we're trying to promote Africans venture into different sectors, different fields. So there'll be young people listening to this episode thinking, oh, how does he make money from YouTube, Facebook? So it really helps us and the listeners to understand the different models that people use, especially in 2019, where you can craft a full career online, whereas 15, 20 years ago, that was unthinkable, which may explain why our parents still struggle to understand how you can make money on the digital space. All right, Godswill, no, thank you, as I said, for that. And the Nigerian comedy scene, I know that in Southern Africa, there are a few very famous or popular Nigerian comedians. How is the comedic scene in Nigeria? Is it a big industry with lots of players? Or are you finding that perhaps it's still in its early stages? What's your assessment of the comedy scene up there?
My assessment so far on the comedy scenes here in Nigeria is I can say that it has been awesome. Every day we see different people springing up who are very, very creative. Do you understand? So I think to some extent, I think the comedy scene in Nigeria is large. Do you understand? If you come on Instagram, you will see different people, different comedians whose contents are fantastic. Do you understand? And recently, taking statistics, I think the comedy industry has the largest number. Do you understand? Look at the likes of AY, the likes of Basket Mouth. All these ones, they've grown. Then the upcoming that are coming right now, we are really much, honestly. The assessment so far is that the growth rate is very high. And almost everybody, not even everybody, let me say 40 to 45% of the youths in Nigeria ventured into comedy. Do you understand? So as soon as you come online on Instagram or YouTube, you will see lots of funny videos from different people. So the assessment so far has been awesome. Even currently now, it is comedy so far in Nigeria is very, very competitive now. So competitive. Because if you come online, you will see that there are some other persons who are even far much more better than yourself. So when you discover that, all you need to do is to work on yourself again and improve more on your contents. Do you understand? So that's the current assessment so far. Yeah, in Nigeria.
I've always wondered. Yeah, I agree, because you talked about Basket Mouth. You can talk about someone like I Go Die, Alibaba, Akpororo, and the list goes on. And someone in your specific niche, someone like Mark Angel that we've had on this show as well. So I do agree. It does sound like it's a very competitive industry. I wonder though, do you think it is because Nigerians are funny, or what makes Nigerians move into the comedic scene? Because when I think of other countries like, say, Ethiopia, Malawi, they don't have as many comedians as there are up there in Nigeria. I don't know if you've thought about whether it's because Nigerians are funny, or that most, as you mentioned, of the young people in Nigeria think that they can make it in comedy.
Yeah, I think let me say, Nigerians are funny. We are really funny. But that's really not the major reason why we ventured into comedy. Yeah. I wouldn't know why most other persons ventured into comedy. To some extent, some persons just feel they are funny. Also, we're notwithstanding we still having that we have large numbers of people who makes comedy. Yeah, there are still some who just come into the comedy industry and start making videos, and their videos are not funny, are not interesting. So most times it becomes very annoying sometimes, because it now looks as if they're joking with it. Okay, now the truth is, the country that we are in Nigeria, we have lots of ups and downs. Do you understand? And we just discovered that the only way we can make ourselves happy is to make, as in, I would like to right now say, sometimes you are the one who determines your own happiness. I don't know if you understand. Yeah, the
I
way you
do.
are, you determine your own level of happiness. So I just believe the way we are currently in this country, we're just trying to make ourselves happy, not minding what is going on in the country. So I think it has been awesome. Nigerians are honestly, they are funny. Yeah, we are funny.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons too. We are funny. To be sincere
No,
with
I
you.
agree. And very confident people. And I'm sure as we're recording this, today is the 22nd of June as we do this recording. I know that the Nigerian football team just beat Burundi in
Yeah.
the African Cup of Nations. So I'm pretty sure people in Nigeria are very, very happy. I don't know if you follow football, Godswill, but I actually have never met a Nigerian who does not follow football, but maybe you are the first. What do you think
Yes.
your chances are in the African
Yeah,
Cup of Nations?
you are very correct. Like you said that you've never seen a Nigerian or an African who doesn't follow football. But I think you've seen one today. I
Really?
yeah, I'm really not a football fan.
Wow.
So,
What are the odds?
couple of times I've tried to fall in love with football. I don't find it interesting. I really don't, I don't know why it's like that. Sometimes I do go out with my friends, and in fact, I even when it's now so worse that even my friends don't even talk about football wherever I am because I really don't have anything to contribute to it for that. Yeah, so I'm not this football person, honestly. And
No, I understand. I have a son who's now a teenager, and I've been trying to force him to like sport, and 13 years later, he still doesn't. So I totally understand. I've tried and I've had to give up. And I suppose the lesson for me has been that people are just different. So
yeah,
I
people are
grew up
different.
loving football. I like that, but I've got an offspring or a son who really does not understand. So he doesn't understand why people waste 90 minutes of their lives every weekend, at least, watching football. So no, I do understand. All right. I'm sort of wondering. So it's 2019. You said you've got about 400,000 followers, I think you said on Instagram, which is a massive number. Where do you want to take what you're doing now? And where do you go from now? What is your big goal?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I see Laugh Views comedy growing, becoming a big brand in the nearest future, which I and my team we've been working so hard to make sure that this brand becomes the talk of the day someday. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So we've been working hard, and I can assure you, by the grace of Almighty God, it will do more than people's imagination. Yeah, I see Laugh Views becoming bigger, let's say 2 years from now. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like 2 years from now, it's going to be awesome. We're looking forward to doing shows in all parts of the countries, moving from one country to another to do shows, a comedy show. Do you understand? Yeah. More of tour. Very soon we'll start that. Yeah.
And maybe on that topic, Godswill, have you visited any other countries, whether in Africa or elsewhere, for your work, or is that on your to-do list?
Yeah, it's on my to-do list. But for now, I've not visited any other country.
Okay.
Yeah, not visited any
And
other country.
what are some of the countries that you would really like to visit, and maybe why?
Yeah, honestly, I would really like to visit South Africa. I also like to visit. I have a lot of fans in Tanzania. Yeah, which I also like. I also like to visit that place. I really want to appreciate all my fans out there in Tanzania. So I really want to visit there myself.
Yeah, it's always interesting. Do you know why your following in Tanzania is big? Have you established why that is the case?
Honestly, I've tried to establish why, but I'm yet to get better reason. I just believe they just love my content. I just believe they just like my personality. It is somebody who you like or someone you love that you devote your time and whatever you're doing for. So
Mm.
I really not know why, but I just believe they just have this natural likeness for me. And also I love them also. And not just them, I love all my fans worldwide, to be honest with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really want to visit South Africa and Tanzania and also other countries too. But in my
Yeah,
to
Tanzania is
please,
great.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I wanted to say Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, it's a beautiful country. It's one of my favorite destinations. And the reason I was asking if you maybe understand the reasons why you're big in Tanzania is, as someone whose business depends on growth, it will be great to understand why specifically in Tanzania, so that if you understand that, then you can maybe replicate that. For instance, 1000 African Voices, for whatever reason, is followed primarily in Kenya, which then forced us as the production team on 1000 African Voices to make the trip to Kenya to try and go and understand why 1000 African Voices is so popular there. And it was quite clear when we got to Nairobi that first, the cost of data is much lower than in most countries. And because of that, they already understand podcasting, whereas in other African countries, podcasting is still unestablished or really new. So we came back with the understanding that in countries that have low data charges or data cost, it is you more likely to succeed as a podcasting company than in other places. And that's why I was asking you about Tanzania. It will be great to understand why you are so loved there, and so that you can then replicate that across the entire African continent and the world, so that you can grow your brand. You spoke about your team. I understand or assume then that it's not only a one-man show, but you've got different people who support you. Can you maybe just talk us through your production process? So when you're making a video, how many people, more or less, are involved in that process?
yeah. The number of people that I will use in my videos is dependent on the concept. I mean, the concept, the storyline. Sometimes I might end up having a storyline or come up with a storyline that will just require only me. Do you understand? Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I do. So the number of persons I use in a video is determined by the concept that I will be shooting. Yes. And I've
Okay.
worked with a lot of people too as well. Yeah, so it's dependent on the storyline, the concept that I want to shoot for that period.
Okay. In terms of your production team, is it all done in-house?
We have the cinematographer, the one that shoots and edits the video. I'm the writer, but we have somebody who is our team member, edits the video. Yeah.
Ah, cool. All right. I mean, we are about to wrap up now, Godswill. Are there things that you want to say to our listeners? What should people look out for? Do you have any messages that our listeners should be aware of?
Yeah. Thank you very much, my listeners out there. I want to thank 1000 African Voices. What I really want to say here is that as an individual, whatever you are doing, you have to do it well with all sincerity. And never be discouraged in whatever you're doing. Because if you start something new, it is not expected that it will grow overnight. It takes time. So just put in your effort and don't give up. You understand? And also, always go for that which makes you happy, because that is where your hidden treasure is. Yeah. Something you can do, even if you don't even if you are not being paid for doing it. But at the end, after doing it, you make a lot of people happy, then keep doing that thing. That is where you will get your, how will I put it, your blessings from. Yeah. Like when I started my comedy, I never believed it will grow one day to the extent that even 1,000 African voices will even recognize that somebody like me exists and call me for an online interview. Do you understand? So I'm trying to say is this: whatever you are doing in life, just keep doing it well and make sure it's what makes you happy. I think that's what I have to say. Yeah.
I really like that. Whatever you do, make sure you do it with sincerity. Ensure that there's passion behind what you are doing.
Exactly. Passion first.
I like that.
Yeah, passion first.
You know, I'll share a story with you just before we end. When we were thinking of starting a show that connects Africa, 1,000 African Voices, I remember setting up different meetings with people who were already producing podcasts on African content. But the one that really stood out for me that I remember every time I have to do an episode is where the producer and host of a show called African Tech Roundup said any person can produce a podcast, but it's only those that are consistent in their production that are likely to succeed. So you can do 10 episodes and quit, and someone else can do 100 episodes, 200, 300, and you build your brand over time, which is the message that I think you are conveying to us, that you have to build the brand one step at a time and remain consistent. Yeah?
That's it.
Yeah. Godswill, it's really been a pleasure talking to you on 1,000 African Voices, where we are attempting to record and share 1,000 African voices. Probably 15% of our voices come from Nigeria for a reason, because we love Nigeria. It's vibrant people, funny people, soccer-loving, mad nation. It's any superlative that you can use. Nigerians have that. And that is why on this show, we absolutely love people of Nigeria. So thank you for agreeing to be a part of this show and adding to our voices. Now the listeners of 1,000 African Voices will know your name. And 2-3 years from now, when we call you again, I do hope that your brand will have multiplied 10 times.
Thank you very much. Amen. It's all about the grace of God. There's one thing I would like you to do. We shouldn't forget that whatever we do, we should always put God first. Yeah, so by the grace of God, everything will take better shape. And 2 years from now, by the grace of God, the brand will grow bigger than what it is now. Thank you very much for having me.
No, you're welcome. Take care. Until next time, we'll catch you on the other side. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Yeah, cheers. Good night.
1,000 African Voices.
You've been listening to 1,000 African Voices. Please join us next time as we bring you yet another African voice. 1,000 African Voices is produced by Aburengwi C. Sam Ganich is our sound engineer, with our head researcher Jones Maleka. The intro soundtrack for the show is by the legendary Salif Gator from his 1995 album Forlorn. The song you're listening to right now is by Chronix, and the title of the song is Legend. For more information, including the contact details of our guests, please visit us on our website www.1000africanvoices.com. You can also subscribe to our show on iTunes by searching for 1,000 African Voices. We are also available on Stitcher. You can find us as well on Podbean. The only thing we ask of you is that you subscribe to our show by logging on to 1000africanvoices.com and click the subscribe button. That helps us grow. It helps us keep producing and bringing to you more African voices. Until next time, Kungana Africa, and take care.
Being an ordinary person doing what's right. Yesterday at the football game, a little girl asked me my name. She said, "Sir, I've seen you before, tell me who are you?" I said I am a legend that you never heard of before. I said I am a lion, but you never heard me roar. I am a hero that nobody celebrates. But if one person remembers my name, that means on the ocean of fame I'm an unknown sailor. I'm the percussionist playing with the wailers, the one with the shaker, the mover and shaker. My name wasn't on the front of the paper, but me not cater. Much more than the worker, the work is greater. Creation glorifies creator. So all deeds done are in the name of my maker. I am a legend that you probably never hear about. Words from the lion's mouth. I am a hero that nobody celebrates. But if one person remembers my name, give praise, that means I made a change. Story of my life, ordinary person just like you. If you take a look inside, you see the great things that people do. We're out here changing lives day and night, day in, day out. BBC don't show it, CNN don't show it. He's out.